In a post-apocalyptic world, blind monsters with extremely sensitive hearing force a family to dwell in quiet. Day 89. The film begins with the sound of leaves rustling in a deserted ghost town. A family tiptoes barefoot through the empty aisles of an empty grocery store as we enter. Evelyn, the mother, picks through a stack of pills in the medication aisle without making any noise, then returns them to her son Marcus. The mother gestures that he's all right while the older sister, Reagan, peers at them over a counter. She approaches Bo, her younger brother, who is sketching a rocket on the floor. He gives Reagan the rocket. "We'll escape that way." He then reaches for a space shuttle toy after climbing the largely empty shelves. Reagan scurries to collect the toy before it hits the floor when it slips from the shelf. Lee, the family's father, has scrounged some cutting tools for Reagan and some electronics for a radio that will strengthen its signal. As Evelyn warns the family that night would fall soon, they get ready to depart when they see horrified expressions on their faces. Lee carefully removes the 2 batteries from the electronic space shuttle toy that Bo is holding in his palm. To his younger son, he gestures, "It's too loud." Reagan smuggles the toy back to Bo as the family leaves, and Bo takes the batteries with him. The family makes a trail of sand and walks home in silence. Suddenly, they hear the electric sound of the space shuttle toy as they approach a walking bridge. Lee rushes back toward his son in horror, but it's too late. The youngster is grabbed by a thing that flashes in front of them. Day 472. The collision occurred more than a year ago. In order to reach any other survivors, Lee has put up a comprehensive monitoring system in the farmhouse's basement, complete with cameras, monitors, and his radio and electronics. Numerous news articles about an alien invasion are also included. Lee crosses another name off his list, tries to contact it, and again fails. Meanwhile, Evelyn is in the cellar getting ready for the birth of her child. She connects a baby breathing mask to an oxygen tank. It is adjacent to a baby crib that is covered in soundproof. When night falls, Lee lights a small metal drum while more flames are strewn around the mountains and another glows quietly in the distance. Reluctantly, Evelyn asks Reagan to inform her father that dinner is ready. They eat in silence on bits of lettuce after saying a silent prayer. Later, while Marcus and Reagan are playing Monopoly, Marcus inadvertently knocks over a light, causing the rug to catch fire. The family is frightened as they await the repercussions, but Lee promptly puts it out. Suddenly, there is a loud hammering sound coming from the roof, followed by a crunching sound. A raccoon that falls off the roof startles Lee as he glances out the window. It quickly gets squished by a monster as it scurries away. In order to help his daughter hear, Lee goes down the basement to work on a hearing implant. Evelyn descends to make sure he smiles. Wearing headphones, they dance slowly to Neil Young's Harvest Moon. Farm life is stable, but challenging. The following day, Evelyn is in the cellar taking her blood pressure, while Lee is dumping more sand on their walking path. Only a few weeks remain till her due date. Her stethoscope reveals a robust, healthy heartbeat as she rested on her abdomen. Reagan enters the farmhouse, taking care to tread only on the designated, non-creaking areas of the floor. Her father works in the basement, which she can see when she looks down. She interrupts him and informs him that implants never function, even though he had disassembled a radio and tried to fix hers. Despite her disappointment, Lee puts them in her hands. Lee informs Evelyn that he wants Marcus to accompany him today while she is attempting to teach him math. Lee believes Reagan needs to stay safe until her hearing is corrected, even if she wants to go. She dashes into her room and puts the new implant in her ears. She is distraught when they fail. Reagan stealthily leaves the property after packing a bag that contains her cutting tools and a wrapped thing from her dresser. When Lee brings his son to a river, he tells him that it's acceptable to make little noises as long as there are louder ones around. They can easily converse with one another next to a waterfall without worrying about being overheard. Marcus informs his father that Reagan believes her father despises her because she holds herself responsible for the incident. Lee gives him a glance and claims that nobody was at blame. Marcus advises him to occasionally tell her if he still loves her. When Reagan reaches the walking bridge, a temporary memorial for Bo has been erected. She takes it from her dresser and opens it to expose the space shuttle toy. Then she cuts a wire with the pliers so the toy lights up silently. Back at home, Evelyn snags a laundry bag on the stairs while she is hauling it upstairs from the basement. She succeeds in removing it, revealing a nail's point protruding into the stair. An elderly guy emerges from the woods, startling Lee and Marcus as they make their way home. They saw his wife's lifeless body lying on the ground close by. The old guy lets out a primal scream in response to Lee's pleas for him to keep quiet. As a monster swiftly seizes Marcus, Lee seizes him and flees. Evelyn's water breaks at home. With haste, she descends to the basement and stomps on the exposed nail. She drops the picture frame she was clutching, but is able to control her scream. Evelyn drags her foot off the nail and staggers to a box in the room's corner while fighting back tears. To act as a warning, red light bulbs turn on. Then she stumbles over to a mechanical kitchen timer. When Lee gets home, he is shocked to see the emergency signal activated after hearing a loud growling sound coming from within the house. Evelyn hears a horrifying combination of growling and clicking as the creature enters the house while she is hiding. She bites down on her thumb in pain, still fighting back tears. To find its victim, the monster spreads its slimy ears wide. It promptly jumps toward it as the countdown sounds, allowing Evelyn to dash upstairs. Another creature in the front yard horrifies her. Marcus is told by Lee to go make a big commotion since his mother is in danger. Blood drips across Evelyn as she enters the bathroom upstairs and slips into the tub. Marcus finds a bundle of pyrotechnics, and Lee reaches for his shotgun. Fireworks light up the night sky as she cries in agony. The fireworks are seen to Reagan. When Lee looks about the house, he discovers a blood-stained, empty bathtub. He starts to cry because he thinks Evelyn is dead, but he is ecstatic to find her safe and hidden in the shower with a newborn. Lee brings them both into the prepared soundproof bunker and conceals the infant within the cot. Marcus Mimo hears an alien as he makes his way back to the house. He dashes into the fields after her, colliding with a tractor wheel and losing consciousness. The beam from Marcus's flashlight is visible from the cornfield to Reagan when he gets home. She is so distracted that she doesn't hear the monster behind her, but as it approaches, Reagan's implant begins to produce a high feedback loop, which upsets the monster and makes it flee. Reagan doesn't realize what just transpired, Omar. They hide out on top of a grain silo and wait for their father once she locates Marcus. When Evelyn awakens, their plan has succeeded. They don't have time to celebrate, though. We notice water seeping into the cellar as Lee exits to go look for the children. Marcus writes, "Don't worry, he'll come for us," on top of the silo, but Reagan shakes her head and responds, "He'll come for you." Marcus goes to embrace his sister. When Evelyn awakens, the cellar has flooded, as Lee can see them on the cameras. As the creature keeps searching for them, Evelyn scoops up her infant, gently wades across the water, and creeps to the back of the cellar. Marcus falls into the silo while the two kids are debating whether to wait for their father or go home on their own. The alien in the cellar with Evelyn is captivated to the sounds. Marcus is barely spared when a hatch entirely separates and plunges into the silo. Reagan successfully saves her sibling by leaping into the silo. A crash is heard as Marcus and Reagan sit securely on top of the silo door. The creature leaps into the silo from the flooded cellar. The children appear to be doomed as they shield themselves with a hatch door, until Reagan's implant emits a high-frequency shriek once more, causing the alien to flee. Lee senses another alien nearby as he reunites with his kids. Marcus screams as he is swiftly attacked by the alien after telling the kids to shelter in a truck. The alien strikes the truck after hearing this. With severe injuries, Lee looks at his daughter and says, "I love you. You have always been loved by me." The truck wheels back inside the home, and Lee is abducted before he can yell. They meet up with their mother there. However, they flee back inside the home and go to the basement as they hear the alien approaching. For the first time, Reagan, who was never permitted down here, observes her father's research and the several hours he had devoted to studying anatomy and mechanics in an effort to fix her implant. She's feeling too much emotion. The monster enters the basement and corners them just as the lights start to flicker. Reagan looks around the room rapidly, wondering what their weakness is. The alien trembles as she pulls out the new hearing aid Lee built her, turns it on, and adjusts the frequency. Reagan pushes her hearing aid against a nearby microphone, causing the monster to shudder furiously until it falls. For a brief while, the mother and daughter exchange shocked looks before the monster stutters to its feet. Evelyn blasts its head off with Lee's shotgun. Soon after, they notice on the security screens that dozens more monsters were drawn in by the shotgun explosion. As Reagan starts to turn up the speakers and Evelyn pumps the shotgun with a sour smile.